Morning, folks. It is Sunday, June 22nd, 2025, and we're going to be diving into the firestorm that broke last night. President Trump took to the White House podium and he announced that the United States just bombed 3 of Iran's nuclear sites, Fordo, Natanz, and Isfahan. This is massive news. It is a complete game changer in the Middle East, maybe even the boldest move of President Trump's second term. I've got his own words from the speech and a clip of Rachel Maddow on MSNBC whining about it and some X posts which are lighting up the internet. So go ahead and grab your coffee, sit back, relax, and let's,
This is The Springer Show, the voice of conservative truth. And now, here is your host, Brian Springer.
Good morning. Good morning. I'm glad to have you along for the ride. I'm really glad to be here with you as well. Before we get too far into it, folks, I've got to tell you a little bit about My Patriot Supply. Just go ahead and knock this one out of the way. With everything going on in the world, being ready for the unexpected is a must. My Patriot Supply is having their huge 4th of July sale right now, and you've got to jump on these deals before they're gone, okay? They're offering their premium survival food kits with up to 2,500 calories per day. They are tasty, nutrient-packed meals with a shelf life of up to 25 years. Whether it's a storm, a grid failure, tough times, who knows what. These kits will have your back, and they will keep your family fed no matter what. They've also got some state-of-the-art solar generators with EMP intercept technology. These powerhouses will keep your essential devices running when the grid goes down, or an EMP strike hits, or there's a solar flare, or who knows what. No gas, no hassle, just dependable energy whenever you need it. But these exclusive offers won't stick around long, so don't wait. Head over to Prepare with the Springer Show. That's preparewiththespringershow.com right now and grab these life-saving supplies while the 4th of July sale is still on. All right, folks, we're going to start this journey today. One single topic, but it's a good one. It's a long one. It bears discussing. It bears repeating. The interwebs, the television, the radio dials, the ham radios, AM, FM waves, satellites, phones, everything you think of were all abuzz last night. You know, I'm pretty sure that most of us are aware of what's been going on between Israel and Iran, Iran, however you want to say it, whatever. There's been a lot of tension there in the United States. As always, well, not always, but for the most part, has been an ally to Israel. And we've had some roles in many of the operations going on there. Recently, we've said that we were going to stay out of everything that's happening, but we were going to help Israel defensively. But there was always a concern about Iran, I'll probably say it both ways, having nuclear weapons. And that's not something that anybody ever wanted them to do. So, excuse me. The Middle East has been a powder keg for quite a long time. Recently, Israel has been pounding Iran, saying that their nuclear program is a ticking time bomb, and I think most of us can agree with that. Iran says that their nuclear program was just for civilian power plants, not weapons. I don't think the majority of us believe that, though. President Trump said, enough is enough, and he dropped the hammer. Based on everything leading up to this, let's just hear what the president had to say last night about the situation. So bear with me here, folks.
A short time ago, the U.S. military carried out massive precision strikes on the three key nuclear facilities in the Iranian regime: Fordow, Natanz, and Esfahan. Everybody heard those names for years as they built this horribly destructive enterprise. Our objective was the destruction of Iran's nuclear enrichment capacity and a stop to the nuclear threat posed by the world's #1 state sponsor of terror. Tonight, I can report to the world that the strikes were a spectacular military success. Iran's key nuclear enrichment facilities have been completely and totally obliterated. Iran, the bully of the Middle East, must now make peace. If they do not, future attacks will be far greater and a lot easier. For 40 years, Iran has been saying death to America, death to Israel. They have been killing our people, blowing off their arms, blowing off their legs with roadside bombs. That was their specialty. We lost over 1,000 people, and hundreds of thousands throughout the Middle East and around the world have died as a direct result of their hate. In particular, so many were killed by their general, Qasem Soleimani. I decided a long time ago that I would not let this happen. It will not continue. I want to thank and congratulate Prime Minister Bibi Netanyahu. We worked as a team like perhaps no team has ever worked before. And we've gone a long way to erasing this horrible threat to Israel. I want to thank the Israeli military for the wonderful job they've done. And most importantly, I want to congratulate the great American patriots who flew those magnificent machines tonight, and all of the United States military on an operation the likes of which the world has not seen in many, many decades. Hopefully, we will no longer need their services in this capacity. I hope that's so. I also want to congratulate the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Dan Raisin Kane, spectacular general, and all of the brilliant military minds involved in this attack. With all of that being said, this cannot continue. There will be either peace or there will be tragedy for Iran far greater than we have witnessed over the last 8 days. Remember, there are many targets left. Tonight's was the most difficult of them all, by far, and perhaps the most lethal. But if peace does not come quickly, we will go after those other targets with precision, speed, and skill. Most of them can be taken out in a matter of minutes. There's no military in the world that could have done what we did tonight, not even close. There has never been a military that could do what took place just a little while ago. Tomorrow, General Kane, Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth will have a press conference at 8 a.m. at the Pentagon. And I want to just thank everybody, and in particular, God. I want to just say we love you, God, and we love our great military. Protect them. God bless the Middle East. God bless Israel. And God bless America. Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right. So Fordow, Natanz, and Isfahan are gone, he says. He was standing there with Vice President J.D. Vance, Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth, and Secretary of State Marco Rubio. They were all backing him up while he was saying that this was a surgical strike with Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. He called him Bibi. I've heard that before. But he's also thanking everybody. He's thanking a lot of the military minds that went into planning this. That shows you that this was not a off-the-cuff decision. This was something that has been planned for some time. Just needed a green light to go, and he finally gave it, which we'll get into a little bit later in this show. He has the absolute right to do. So we have B-2 Spirit bombers, the Stealth Kings, take off from the middle of the United States, fly directly to Iran, drop 30,000-pound bunker buster massive ordnance penetrator bombs, and then return. These bombs were built to shred places like Fordow, which is buried under 300 feet of rock. This was not some half-hearted job. this was America flexing some major muscle, showing what we can do. So, Fordo, there was a lot of talk about it prior to the bombing. Just kind of going through what these places are. Fordo is a uranium enrichment hub near Qom, Qom, I guess. I have a hard time with some of these names they have over there. Natanz is a big enrichment plant, and Isfahan was where they stashed their near weapons grade uranium. So these three sites were very strategic in taking out all of them. President Trump says that the mission is done. The planes are on the way back, safe, and Iran's nuclear dreams are completely toast. Apparently, there were some NASA satellites that even caught a huge heat blast near Fordo right before the speech. So something got hit hard, and I know there was talks yesterday about a supposed 5.1 magnitude earthquake in the area. But this may have been bombs going off. Who knows? But Iran is claiming that they evacuated those sites and their nuclear program is still alive. They said before the bombings ever happened, there was nobody there, nothing there. You just hit empty buildings. Maybe they're just trying to flex to make America feel like it didn't do anything. I guess time will tell. But right now they're whining about international law. They're threatening to sue in some kind of a global court. However much good they think that will do. So President Trump's response to that is make peace or get ready for round two. President Trump says that this saved Israel as well as the rest of the world from a nuclear nightmare, and I am inclined to believe him. Iran has been playing games for years. I mean, since, the 70s. And President Trump just finally called their bluff. So, we don't have boots on the ground to confirm every crater and whether it was a good hit or not. Not that any of us want any boots on the ground. I sure don't. I'm sure most of us do not. But those B-2 bombers, they do not mess around. They're not there to just look good. They're there for a specific job. Iran is probably just trying to save face right now because admitting that President Trump wiped out their program would be a complete death blow to their entire regime's ego. And this is what American leadership looks like, folks, okay? It's decisive, unapologetic, and it puts America and our allies first, which is exactly what President Trump did. Folks, I tell you, there's just so much to unpack with all this. It was hard to keep up with it between the words circulating on social media. You'll have to excuse me, I haven't had my coffee completely yet. Hold on. Let me take a little coffee break here. Oh yeah, that's good for the soul. There's a lot of stuff going around on social media prior to the speech. Then during and after the speech, social media exploded. Of course, you've got people on both sides. He said he wasn't going to start a war. He said no new wars. Then you've got the other side. We needed this. We needed to make sure Iran does not have nuclear weapons. It's hard to find people who are making sense of this. With all these reactions, I was scrolling through as quick as I could, trying to keep up with them, doing the very best I could. One that stood out to me was House Speaker Mike Johnson, standing tall for President Trump. He posted this on X last night. He said, "The president made the right call and did what he needed to do. Leaders in Congress were aware of the urgency of this situation, and the commander-in-chief evaluated that the imminent danger outweighed the time it would take for Congress to act." I want you to remember that part. It continues. "The world's largest state sponsor of terrorism, which chants death to America, simply could not be allowed the opportunity to obtain and use nuclear weapons. The president fully respects the Article 1 power of Congress and tonight's necessary, limited, and targeted strike follows the history and tradition of similar military actions under presidents of both parties. He's absolutely right, because that's one of the first things everybody's running to. He can't invade another country. He can't put us in war. He can't do all this without congressional approval. Well, again, we'll get into that, Article 1 and Article 2 of the Constitution and how they break that down. But what he did is something that he absolutely can do. Speaker Johnson has got it right. And President Trump has given Iran every chance to negotiate. Every chance, over and over. Even gave them a 60-day window. But they kept pushing. They kept saying, oh, yes, we'll talk, and never did. So what is President Trump supposed to do? Wait for them to nuke Tel Aviv? And then say, oops? I mean, come on now. Speaker Johnson, along with Senator Majority Leader John Thune, and even Mike Pence, yeah. They're all saying that this was the right call, and they support President Trump in this. They were briefed beforehand. Congress was briefed about this beforehand, so they knew the stakes. This is what a unified Republican front looks like, backing strong leadership. But, I say but now, we can't say it's a complete unified Republican front. Sadly, there are some Republicans in Congress who do not approve of this situation. I'm not saying they're wrong in their disapproval. Everybody's entitled to their own opinions. I'm saying that perhaps we just need to come together on the main issue of what happened, why it happened, and what it prevented. But among others, one of the most outspoken members of Congress is Marjorie Taylor Greene. I usually love what she has to say, okay? But here's what she had to say about the issue last night on one of her X posts. Every time America is on the verge of greatness, we get involved in another foreign war. There would not be bombs falling on the people of Israel if Netanyahu had not dropped bombs on the people of Iran first. Israel is a nuclear-armed nation. This is not our fight. Peace is the answer. Well, but no. Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene put the blame for this whole thing squarely on the shoulders of President Netanyahu, as if there were not terrorists raining down from the skies in Israel on October 7th, along with at least 4,300 rockets that were fired into Israel from Gaza by Hamas. This, on top of the fact that Iran has long been a financial backer and supporter of Hamas and other proxy terror groups in and around Israel, who chant death to Israel, death to America, as well as Iran themselves stating if they ever had a nuclear weapon, they would wipe Israel and America off the face of the map. But yes, Marjorie Taylor Greene, this is absolutely all Israel's fault. Then, of course, you've got the lunatic liberals on the left. These cats have gotten together and shared a script, apparently. And if you look on X, or, well, they're not really on True Social, or Facebook, or Instagram, anywhere else, they're all pretty much saying the same thing. But I found one that was really funny and interesting. This was Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who is predictably losing her mind. Her X post from last night states, the president's disastrous decision to bomb Iran without authorization is a grave violation of the Constitution and congressional war powers. He has impulsively risked launching a war that may ensnare us for generations. It is absolutely and clearly grounds for impeachment. I don't think these folks look at what would it be, a law, a rule, a regulation, whatever, for impeachment and seeing what the grounds for impeachment are, because every single thing the man does, if he blows his nose the wrong way, they're ready to impeach him. It's ridiculous. Anyway, give me a break here. AOC, impeachment, come on. For taking out a terrorist state's nuclear sites, you want to impeach him? AOC is crying about Congress not getting a vote, but when Iran is this close to a bomb, you don't call a committee meeting, okay? You take action. The Constitution does give the president power to act in a crisis, and that is exactly what President Trump did. AOC and her socialist squad want to tie our hands while Iran builds a nuke. Even some Republicans like Thomas Massey are whining about the war powers, but they're missing the point. Speed matters in this case, okay? And it was delivered. So I get it, Congress has a role, but this is not Iraq in 2003. Hold on a second, another coffee break. Oh, okay, thank you. This was a very targeted strike to stop a clear threat. That's exactly what it was. And AOC, along with most of her little liberal socialist friends, are grandstanding now, trying to score points with their base because they need to put their face out there in any opposition to Trump before the midterm elections come up. That's all it is. Meanwhile, Speaker Johnson is out here supporting a president who's actually doing the job. So you've got both sides out here. They're speaking out in their particular thoughts on this, good, bad, or indifferent. But let's just quickly talk about the United States Constitution, okay? The Constitution splits war powers between Congress and the president, which you'll have a lot of the liberals on the left saying that it's all in Congress's lap and the president oversteps his bounds, and that's just not true. So you have Article 1, Section 8, which grants Congress the power to declare war, raise and support armies, and provide for a navy. This gives Congress the primary authority to initiate major military conflicts. Okay, that seems pretty straightforward. You have Article 2, Section 2 of the Constitution, which designates the president as commander-in-chief of the armed forces, giving him operational control over the military and the ability to respond to threats. Almost sounds like you're giving power of the military to both Congress and the president, and that's sort of exactly what the framers did. They're giving a check and balance. But the division here, it creates tension. Congress decides whether to go to war, but the president can act swiftly in emergencies and in other specific scenarios. The framers of the Constitution wanted the checks and balances, but they didn't spell out every single scenario. They couldn't, which leaves room for interpretation. You know, interpretation is a finicky thing. Enter the War Powers Resolution of 1973. This was passed over President Nixon's veto. The War Powers Resolution was Congress's attempt to clarify and limit presidential war powers, especially after Vietnam, because we know what a wonderful conflict that was. Some of the key provisions in the War Powers Resolution were the consultation requirement, meaning the president must consult with Congress, which he did, in every possible instance before introducing United States forces into hostilities or situations where imminent involvement in hostilities is clearly indicated. There's a reporting requirement. If United States forces are engaged in hostilities without a declaration of war, okay, the president must notify Congress within 48 hours, which he did, detailing the reasons, legal basis, and the estimated scope of the action. There is a 60-day limit provision. The president must withdraw forces within 60 days unless Congress authorizes continued action via a declaration of war, specific authorization, or an extension. Then there's the congressional override. Congress can force withdrawal by passing a joint resolution. Okay? So he didn't put any boots on the ground. He didn't send troops over there. He sent a few planes, dropped a few bombs, surgical precision strike, in and out, done. He met every bit of the War Powers Resolution. He is falling well within his rights under Article 2, Section 2. He is not illegally putting us into a war. There has been no war declaration. Congress has not declared war. He has done what many presidents before him have done. President Obama being one of the last ones to make military strikes against other nations without congressional approval. Not a word is said. But the law aims to ensure that Congress has a say in sustained military actions, while allowing the president flexibility for quick responses. Presidents do have broad leeway to order military strikes without prior congressional approval in specific situations based on a previous precedent and some legal interpretations. Again, there's that nasty word, interpretation. First, they can order military strikes if they see imminent threats or national emergencies. The president can act unilaterally to protect U.S. national security, citizens, or interests if there is an imminent threat. I would say by Iran having 60% enriched uranium, possibly more, and looking at a short amount of months away from having weapons-grade uranium, possibly a nuclear weapon, there was probably an imminent threat. The second part is limited or targeted strikes. United States presidents have ordered short-term targeted military actions without Congress, arguing that they don't rise to the level of war requiring a declaration. Some quick examples include President Reagan's 1986 Libya bombing, President Clinton's 1998 Iraq strikes, and Obama's 2011 Libya intervention. President Obama actually has several other strikes on his list, but we don't have them all right now. So when is congressional approval needed? During sustained military campaigns, declared war, and major conflicts. As of right now, none of those are happening. The U.S. Constitution makes President Trump the commander-in-chief of the U.S. military. And when Iran has enough uranium to nuke half of the Middle East, you don't call Congress for permission. The War Powers Act says that he has to tell Congress within 48 hours, and he met that. This was a surgical strike. This was not World War III. This will not put us into World War III. Presidents have done this for decades. Reagan, Clinton, Obama, and others. President Trump gave Iran every chance to deal, and they blew it. But this is why we elected President Trump, to act, not to ask for a permission slip. This is not going to lead to World War III, but you're going to see all these fearmongers on social media and everywhere else who are going to tell you otherwise, that this is nothing more than World War III in the makes. I've already seen countless people posting, and surprisingly, people who I thought were more intelligent, such as Piers Morgan, posting, "We are at war with Iran." No, we're not. This is not at war with Iran. This is a surgical strike. We've had surgical strikes before when we went in and dealt with the Houthis. We have gone into other countries and dealt with issues and jumped right back out. It does not mean that we're at war. If Iran decides to strike back at us, hitting military installations, military civilians, then there's a great chance that we will go to war with them. However, I feel that that war will be a very quick war. But no, we are not at war. Right now, President Trump went in, bombed them, came back, and now he's staring at them. He said, "Look, I want peace." He wants peace in the region. He wants everybody to come to the table. And let's get this worked out. Let's stop the bombing between Iran and Israel. And let's get this worked out peacefully. But of course, Yemen, they have to throw their hat in the ring. Basically, we slapped their friend, so now they want to get involved in the fray, which is probably not a good idea on their. But we'll see. The ball is in Iran's court, so it's going to be up to them to see what they do now. MSDNC, Rachel Maddow, she decided that she wanted to come on TV and put in her unsolicited 2 cents. Here's an interesting little soundbite of what the left thinks and how they are viewing the scene. Take a listen to Rachel.
This is MSNBC's ongoing special breaking news coverage. I'm Rachel Maddow. If you're just tuning in, we are following the breaking news that U.S. bombers carried out strikes today at 3 Iranian nuclear sites. One at Natanz, a site that had previously been hit by Israel. Israel and Iran have been trading strikes since Israel's surprise attack last Friday. Israel has already attacked the site at Natanz. Now the United States has done so as well. Another nuclear site near Isfahan in Iran, and also, according to the president, the facility called Fordo, which is a deeply buried facility. And that's important tactically because the U.S. military is believed to have essentially unique targeting capacity to hit a site like that. It is a deep underground facility. The United States has essentially developed weapons specifically to target facilities like that one. And so these B-2 bombers that have reportedly carried out these strikes tonight in Iran are aircraft with capacity that no other military in the world really has. Now, common wisdom about this president, about the political movement that he leads, is that he is supposedly isolationist, that he is supposedly anti-war. That has never been exactly right. That's always been kind of a lazy common wisdom. In less than 6 months back in office, he has threatened military action against Panama, against Canada, against Denmark in order to seize Greenland. He has bombed Yemen over and over and over again, and now he appears to have entered the United States military into a war in Iran, something that neoconservatives have thrilled to for, I guess, 2 generations now. A lot of commentary around the Trump phenomenon and Trump's politics would suggest that he has risen in opposition to the neoconservatives who have advocated for this type of war since essentially the Iranian Revolution in 1979. But since 1979, the U.S. military has not engaged directly with Iran. But Donald Trump has done so tonight. Donald Trump has ordered U.S. military bombing raids on Iran. We are now in war with Iran.
We are now at war with Iran. That term is circulating everywhere. There's been no declaration of war, Rachel Madcow. This was nothing more than a surgical strike on an imminent threat. The left is going to undoubtedly be telling the American people lies about how President Trump illegally pushed the United States into war. It's going to be a very fun ride, for sure. So over the next few days, we'll have to keep our eyes out, see how Iran responds and what sort of propaganda is put out on the airwaves, the interwebs, and everything else. Folks, I tell you, this is a big deal, but not as big of a deal as the left would have you think. They would have you think that we are in a imminent war with Iran, that we are at war with Iran, and this is just a massive, massive thing. It's going to be World War III. It's going to be the end of us. They might even have you believe that there are currently nuclear missiles on their way to the United States, and we're all going to die. Well, I'm here to tell you that that's not true. So go ahead and make your beach plans. Go ahead and throw some burgers on the grill. You're going to be fine. Whether this turns into a war with Iran, we'll have to see. We really will. President Trump is telling Iran to make peace or get ready for more. Iran is talking tough, but their nuclear sites are in ruins. Israel is still in the fight, and we are sending destroyers and another aircraft carrier to back them up. This could end with Iran backing down, or it could get uglier if they retaliate. We're just going to have to wait and see, folks. But either way, President Trump has got this under control. I really feel that. I've got some faith in my president. You know, that's kind of why we elected him, right? So here's kind of the bottom line, okay? President Trump did what President Obama and President Biden never had the guts to do. He took on Iran's nuclear threat head on. He is protecting Israel, America, and the free world from this nuclear lunacy. AOC and Rachel Maddow can scream all they want, but they'd rather negotiate with terrorists than fight them. Not President Trump, though. He is betting that this forces Iran to the table. You know what? I kind of think it will. They're going to posture, they're going to kick like toddlers, they're going to scream and fight, but maybe they're going to take a look and say, you know what? They did that pretty quickly, pretty easily. Maybe we do need to go to the table and talk. It's probably a good time to do that. What do you think? What do you think, folks? Is President Trump saving not only the world, America, Israel? Is he doing the right thing? Or are the liberals right? Are we about to start a new war, possibly World War III? Could this be the end of civilization as we know it? Let me know what your thoughts on this are on this. Let me know what your thoughts are on this. You see, I haven't had as much coffee as I'd like to. I'm going to work on that, though. But let me know what your thoughts are on this. Email me at springershow@protonmail.com or shoot me a comment on Facebook, X, Instagram, or Truth Social. Yeah, we're on Truth Social, the social media platform made by Donald Trump. I recommend you all check it out. But we're going to keep our eyes on this, okay? Don't know which way it's going to go. Hopefully this is going to be positive for everybody involved. Hopefully no more war, peace. That will be optimal. But it's not over yet. So just keep your head on a swivel. All right? I appreciate every one of you being here with me today. I really enjoy doing this for you guys. Thank you for joining me. And as always, I want you to stay safe and God bless.